Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and place to be, it's Debsy. That's me, boop, Debsy. Hey guys, we're halfway there, living on a prayer. Happy Wednesday, and I don't want to sing too much of that because I don't want to owe John Bon Jovi any money. Anyways, happy Wednesday. I hope everybody is having a great, if not great, then good week. Today I'm going to go over what happened on Claim to Fame on Monday. Listen, I am loving Claim to Fame. Claim to Fame is actually, I'm gonna say it's my favorite show of the summer. I'm loving it. I'm loving like all the backstabbing and the alliances and the strategery. I'm loving all of it. So let's get into Claim to Fame. Started off, it was the day after the Guess Off. Shane went home and Monet woke up. She's still pissed. She is 100% positive that Cole is related to Alicia Keys. She mentioned that there was a piano with keys. There was something that said diary, which Alicia Keys has a song, I believe, called Diary. And there was sheet music. And she said he looks just like her. She's positive that Cole's related to Alicia Keys. He is. So, spoiler alert, he is. There are some new clues on the clue board. I believe they said there were 14 new clues. I don't know if any of these clues are really helping people, because Gabe is 157% convinced that Chris is related to Ace Ventura because there are dogs because there are animals on board, which to him means Ace Ventura. Also, he sees a mask and he thinks Jim Carrey was in the mask. But listen, it's not. That's not the case at all. I personally don't even think that Chris looks like Jim Carrey. And then they did mention that there is a dog. Somebody said, but there's a dog. And another person had said, that's from Bruce Almighty. That's the kind of dog he has in Bruce Almighty. No, if you notice, it's a dog in a heart. So puppy love. That was Donny Osmond's first song. If not his first song, then it was his biggest hit. The mask that they're talking about. Listen, the mask could be for two people that are related to people on the show that are on The Masked Singer, and that is Nick Cannon, who is related to Gabe, and Jenny McCarthy, who is related to Olivia. So nobody is seeing that. There's also, I noticed there is a card that says vote. That is a clue for Hugo's relative, who is Jimmy Carter, his grandfather. Okay, so the challenge this week is the telephone game. We had two teams, the green team and the blue team. Blue team was captained by Gabe, and the green team was captained by JR. So, you know, basically the whole deal of telephone. One person from each team called Kevin Jonas. He gave them the message that was chock full of, each word was a clue for one of the contestants. And they had to then go to the next person, repeat it, next person repeats it, till finally the person at the bottom had to take the message and had to put like objects in, I think it was like 4 or 5 places. And then if you got each of them correct, then you won. Well, the winner clear and away was the blue team. So Gabe was the captain of the blue team. He got immunity. He also gets to choose a clue. But also, this week, the winning team gets a copy of the limerick from the game, the limericks from the game. So they can go through and they can try and figure out what the clues mean. The losing captain was JR. JR is in the bottom, so he's a potential guesser. He had to pick somebody. He picked Carson to be a possible guesser. So the blue team gets their limerick. I don't know that this is going to be helpful to them because they're not picking up on any of these things. The first clue that they looked at was funny little bunny. Okay, so they immediately said, funny little bunny, it's somebody who's a comedian. Okay, so it's Olivia. So they saw a bunny, they honed in on a bunny with a carrot. They thought Carrot Top. And they said they think maybe Carrot Top could have won a Razzie. But listen, that's not how it goes at all. The bunny is for Jenny McCarthy. She was a Playboy bunny. She was in Playboy. It's not Carrot Top. I don't know if they're thinking she has red hair. That's the only person they're thinking of, but it's not. They were wrong on that. The other one of the other clues was betting where legal. Betting. The other clue was promoted where betting is legal. That's Vegas. Chris got real worried and real sweaty about this one because his dad, Donny Osmond, has been performing in Vegas for probably decades. He's been there forever, along with Marie Osmond, I think. I think they're both out there. So everybody was talking about what's Vegas, what about residencies, who has residencies out there. Adele, Celine Dion had one, Usher, Britney had one. Chris is getting nervous. I don't know why, because there's no way in hell these young people would think the Osmonds. There's absolutely no way anybody's gonna guess his. These are all young people. They don't know the Osmonds. So Chris tries to get them off that path and says, what about magicians? And people were like, yeah, it could be David Copperfield or David Blaine. It's not. And then the last one was keyed a few bars. Cole was even more obvious because he just gets up and walks out. Nobody else really paid that much attention to it. Monet surely did notice. A little bit later, Chris is talking to Carson. Hugo, and Olivia. And Chris is saying to the group, listen, there's really nothing out there about basketball, like no clues pertaining to basketball. And because everybody is so positive that JR is related to somebody who plays in the NBA, but there's nothing out there about basketball at all. Then Carson says she thinks he's related to a musician or a rapper, and then she says he's related to a rapper. Then they bring up the baby. Listen, I don't know anything about Lil Nas X. So that I can't put anything on this because I really know nothing about him. But they mentioned the baby, and then I think it was Hugo that said something like JR's relative blew up recently, and then kind of made a face like maybe he knows, maybe he has an idea of who it is. And then talk turns to Chris and his clue. And they were asking who it was. He wouldn't tell anything. Carson is getting real frustrated because he's being real stingy with the information. He won't show his clue. And she says that you promised that if you pulled a clue, you would show me. And he's not. She's getting real upset by this. I would too. And she says he has all the information. And then Olivia and Carson talk, and she's like, this is bullshit that he's not sharing this. This isn't right. And Chris is saying, I can't. The reason why Chris couldn't share it right then and there is because it's Hugo's clue, and Hugo is there. However, what you can do is you can talk to Carson by herself and show it there. So Gabe and Monet are talking a little bit later. Gabe asks, whose clue do you think I should pull? Do you want me to pull yours? Monet is kind of like tossing that possibility around just because she would rather have somebody she can trust pull it rather than have it be out there with someone that she can't trust. So she's kind of noodling that around. Carson and Olivia talk a little bit later on. Olivia says that Chris has to show them the clue since everyone's pretty certain that he's related to Jim Carrey. And she wants somebody to guess him. Like Olivia wants somebody to pick him because she thinks they have to get them out. She thinks they have to get him out, which, to be honest with you, that's a person that I could definitely see wanting to get out. He's strong. He's a strong player. He's a strategist. And Carson agrees. She thinks 100% that it's Jim Carrey. Once again, she's like, he was making this face the other day, and I told him, you look exactly like the Grinch. She says he looks exactly like Jim Carrey. I don't see it. I really don't see it. If you don't know what Donny Osmond looks like, please go online, look at Donny Osmond, and then look at Chris. The resemblance is there. I don't see Jim Carrey. Carson also is saying she thinks Chris has to go home because he's a threat. He really is a threat. Speaking of Chris, Gabe and Chris are talking. She says that he says that Monet told her to pull her clue for protection. Chris then lets on about his strategy. He tells Gabe, listen, don't tell anybody whose clue you pull, and don't show it to anyone. That way, no one would want to put him in as the guesser when they don't know who he is. It made sense when I was listening to it, but now that I said it out loud, it isn't. Anyways, and then Chris asks if he can make a trade. Gabe is thinking about it, and then he says yes. And Chris comes up with a real good point. He says to Gabe, listen, why are you here? Are you here to win, or are you here to just protect somebody who wants to win? That's absolutely true. Listen, when they were getting on Cole about supposedly stabbing Shane in the back, listen, Shane didn't care about him. And you are there to win the money. You're not there to make a girlfriend. You're not there to make friends. You're not there to protect somebody. Listen, you're there to win. That's why everybody's there. So Gabe goes in to pick the clue. He picks Monet. He looks at it and he comes up with Curb Your Enthusiasm. There was Saturday Night, and then there was Curb Your Enthusiasm. JB Smoove, who Monet is related to, he is on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And Gabe has watched Curb Your Enthusiasm. He cannot remember who is on it. At first he says Kenan Thompson, but then he clearly is like, no, it's not. He might be on the right track. I mean, they don't have their phones. They cannot Google anything or ask Siri, but I mean, it could very well, it might come to him. Monet is then talking to Carson and Olivia. Listen, before she was gunning for Carson, now she's talking to her, and Carson is like, I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if I can trust her. But Monet says who she thinks he's related to. She says that Cole dated Emma Watson. I never knew that, but Cole dated Emma Watson, and he said his ex lives in London. So they're like, oh, well, that's it. Okay. And then JR, which we have not heard a lot from JR this whole episode. He says he's leaning towards getting Chris out because he is a threat. He certainly is a threat. He has his fingers in everywhere. He is a very smart strategist. He's a smart guy. And Cole feels that he can trust JR not to pick him. So he's saying, listen, I trust JR. He's not going to pick me. So he wants to get everybody on board with picking JR to be the guesser. So it's time for the guess off. People are voting, and the guesser for the night is Carson. So Carson gets up there and she picks Cole. So she says that Cole is related to Alicia Keys. And in fact, Cole is related to Alicia Keys. You could tell he was really proud. You could tell he was really proud of his sister. And when she had her little taped message to him, you could tell that she just has such a great relationship with her brother. So Cole is out. Next week, it looks like Monet might be getting figured out. Gabe then shows Chris his clue that he pulled on Monet. He says he's doing that because he can trust him. Don't do it. You cannot trust him. And Chris then takes the clue that Gabe showed her and shows Olivia. So there we go. And tell me, if you watched the show, what did you think? Who do you want to win? And who do you just not like on that show? So with that being said, if nobody told you yet today, I love you. You're loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there. Please take care of one another. If you are in a part of the country that is scorching hot with triple degree weather, with triple degree temps, or just humidity that feels like it's triple degree, please stay hydrated. If you don't have to go outside, just don't go outside. Stay inside with the air conditioning or a fan and a nice frosty beverage. So I will see you tomorrow or Friday. And next video just might be a Universal Yums. Where are we going to this month? I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.